all I keep hearing her saying is anti-Judas, Muslim terrorist, Islamic terrorist. That's when I have a problem.
There are people all around the world. Every single day they're being silenced and banned on social media. Millions of people, millions of conservatives, people who voted for President Trump. Other Jews who are trying to expose issues of terrorism. Many of you, through my journalism, have become familiar with the term Silicon Valley Sharia, which is what I refer to Silicon Valley's attempts to make their terms of service and make their platforms more Muslim-friendly, or essentially Sharia compliant. How come on Facebook and Twitter, Hamas, which is a designated, you're a Palestinian, are you here? Will you say that Hamas is a terrorist organization?
No, I won't.
No, you won't, because you support Hamas. Just like Ilhan Omar supports Hamas and refused to disavow Hamas when I asked her. So this is the problem here. We have people like this individual who's in front of me right now who are just like these representatives, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, who have refused to condemn Islamic terrorism. You have people like Linda Sarsour and Louis Farrakhan who advocate for jihad and the death of Jews. And they call for Sharia, and they are allowed to use social media, but I am not. If you haven't already noticed, actual terrorist organizations are allowed on Facebook and Twitter. So this is just Facebook's excuse, of course, to ban conservatives while they allow for actual dangerous individuals like members of ISIS, Hamas, and the Muslim Brotherhood to have active accounts on which they are recruiting for terrorist organizations and promoting their terrorist activities. We've seen this over the last few months in which Twitter users, one including Michelle Malkin herself, have received notifications from Twitter and Facebook informing them that they should seek legal counsel because they're in violation of Pakistani law. Pakistani law. We're here in America. Twitter and Facebook are American companies, so why? You have to ask yourself, why are these companies trying to impose Islamic law on American citizens? Last week, you guys, I filed a lawsuit against Twitter and CARE because, believe it or not, all right, and this is not a conspiracy theory, the Council on American Islamic Relations, which is a designated Islamic terrorist organization, lobbied Twitter and Facebook to ban me. So they just set up some meetings with executives from Facebook and Twitter and said, you know what, we don't like the work that Laura Loomer's doing, exposing all of these dangerous jihadis and Sharia advocates, people like Ilhan Omar, who we have endorsed. Can you please ban her? And yeah, Twitter banned me, guys. That's what they did. They listened to a designated Islamic terrorist organization and they banned me. And CARE, during the Holy Land Foundation terrorism trial, was labeled and classified as a Muslim Brotherhood organization, right? They found, federal judges in this country found that CARE was tied to Hamas and they were supporting Hamas, which is another Islamic terrorist organization that our government recognizes, okay? The reason why I'm banned is not because I'm a dangerous individual. It's not because I'm a terrorist. It's not because I'm a racist. It's not because I'm Islamophobic. It's not because I'm a bigot. I have been banned on every single social media platform simply because I am effective. I am effective in exposing the radical left and their alliance with Islam. And this is something very sinister that is happening in our country, that is being implemented at the top of the Democrat Party and by big tech themselves, and that is why they shut me down. And that is why they are working to deplatform me, financially blacklist me, and really dehumanize me in the eyes of all Americans so that nobody wants to associate with me or read my work. But clearly, more people should be reading my work, because if you had been following my exposés and my reporting prior to my ban, you would have seen for yourself that indeed, not only are Facebook and Twitter and Google and Apple allowing for terrorist organizations to use their services and their platforms, but they're also working with them. In January of this year, the Wall Street Journal reported that CARE, a designated Islamic terrorist organization, otherwise known as the Council on American Islamic Relations, lobbied Facebook and Twitter to ban me. Yes, they literally secured meetings with executives from Facebook and Twitter and asked them to ban me. And, well, Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg obliged, obviously, because now I'm permanently banned, you see. answers yesterday because a whistleblower actually filed a complaint this week detailing and exposing how Facebook is not only allowing for members of terrorist organizations to have accounts, right, but they are also auto-generating images and ads for ISIS, okay? It's something you have to see for yourself to believe because it just sounds too crazy to really be true. But as you know, when I handcuffed myself at the Twitter headquarters office on November 29th of 2018, after I was permanently banned from Twitter for calling Ilhan Omar pro-Sharia and anti-Jewish, I told you guys that these social media companies were working with Islamic terrorist organizations. And not only was I mocked and called a conspiracy theorist, but people told me that I was Islamophobic and anti-Muslim for even suggesting, that terrorist organizations were given more rights on these social media platforms than conservatives. Well, look, guys, the evidence is there, whether it be my reports from when I was still on social media. You can go to lauraloomer.us and see all the reports and the detailed analysis I've done documenting Silicon Valley Sharia, or now this whistleblower report, which confirms everything I've said. But don't worry, I've decided to take legal action against both Twitter and CARE for tortious interference. And 2 weeks ago, I actually filed a lawsuit in Florida suing CARE and Twitter because, like I said, it's totally unacceptable for an Islamic terrorist organization to be lobbying American social media companies to ban a Jewish conservative journalist who is doing nothing but reporting the truth. So if you guys would like to help me fight back against big tech and the Islamic terrorists who they're securing meetings with to undermine our security and destroy our American values, you can go to freeloomer.com and read my legal complaint and donate to support my legal fund. Thanks, guys.